How has the current housing market impacted you or someone you know?
I think we're both in the middle of housing now. We're both young professionals in the city. Rent is extremely expensive here. The rent is only going up. So we've definitely both been impacted by it, and to a greater degree. I think Halifax is in, I don't know.
It's pretty outrageous, the price of a one-bedroom in the city, and I'm in a professional program in law school, and all my friends are paying well over $1,000 in rent, which is on top of our tuition, which is going up by 3% every year. So it just feels impossible to keep up. You can't earn in a summer what you've got to pay to live and get by throughout the year, and then many people take on debt as a result. So it's kind of it's very prohibitory for a lot of young people trying to make it.
In Ontario, the prices are so high in the housing market right now. People are listing their homes at, let's say they listed at $700,000. It's going to sell for well over $1 million. So it's very difficult for anyone who's trying to get into the housing market right now. Even if they think they have the money and the down payment, they're getting outbid, $300,000-$400,000 by other people. So the younger generation is not able to buy a home right now in this current market.
I just graduated and I just started my job, and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be so good. I could easily find a place to stay. Just be by myself, because I've been rooming with people the entire time here. I looked in the market. Everything's so far above $1,000 just for a one bedroom. It's crazy. It's so frustrating. It's very frustrating. I don't like it.
It hasn't really impacted us. I live in Newfoundland, so it's a little different, but I just actually 2 years ago moved from Ontario, so I understand how the housing issues have impacted people, and I still have young adult children who live in Ontario, so I know that they're trying to save every penny to try to get into the housing market, but it's just becoming increasingly difficult, and I think it's really, really becoming depressing for them, because they only see their life and bringing up a family in a condo or an apartment or a townhome, and that's not what they want. So I think it needs to be dealt with.
It's just crazy, but yet there's all these apartment buildings going up and there's no affordable housing. And I think that's a problem that we're not addressing. And I noticed even more in Halifax, you've noticed more homeless around, because it's becoming a crisis. Because if you think about paying $1,800 to $2,500 for a one-bedroom apartment, that's crazy.
The real problem is the supply, and that's what needs to be speeded up, and I think that's where the municipalities and the provincial government and maybe even the federal government should get involved and try and resolve this, because we need to have the supply, and more people moving into Vancouver. It's usually around 60,000 a year, but the latest figures show that last year 100,000 came over. So where are they all going to live? It's an ongoing problem and needs to be solved.
The lower income people is definitely a big concern. Yeah. I hope the government will build more low-cost housing, affordable housing.
I can't afford a house. Even if the housing market were cooler right now, I still would be outpriced. Saving up for one day. Hopefully with the interest rates going up, that'll drive prices down, but we'll see.
As a homeowner here in Burnaby, the prices have gone up, so we are happy about that. But at the same time, our children who are in the buying market, it's definitely getting tougher for them to purchase a property at this moment. Although I know that my daughter, who just got married 3 years ago, was lucky enough, after 3 years into her job, they were able to, purchase a property. But it's getting really harder, particularly in Vancouver here, as well as in the suburbs, for example, Burnaby and even in Surrey. The market is such that for young people, it's really getting harder. And that's one thing which I really think that there should be some incentives or some ways for our next generation to afford housing here.
It hasn't affected me too much yet, I guess, because I'm 23, so I haven't really been looking for to own a property. But I guess that's just because of how much it costs. It's just not even a thought to me. And it seems like people my age don't really even typically think about that till like maybe their late 20s or even later on. Just kind of rent. It's just the way it is,
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely like in that age range of people that are looking to buy a house currently. My husband and I moved here after I got married, and we're kind of, looking towards getting a house. I know my sister is in a great position to buy a house, but currently the houses on the market are out of her reach specifically, and so she is continuing to rent when she would rather be in a position to purchase, considering her mortgage prices would be, a little bit more, but similar price point to renting anyways. So it's definitely put people in a tough position.
Personally, I moved from the GTA down to the Windsor area in March of 2015, and found the prices just skyrocketed on an exponential level, and it was really hard to sort of find something in the price range that was affordable. And still looking. Thankfully, I found someone that I can partner up with that I don't have to worry about that anymore. But that being said, if I wanted to do something on my own, it'd be near impossible at this stage.
Like, very few people my age can buy a house without their parents helping them substantially, and even then, it's the people who have parents who are really wealthy. I think maybe 20, 30 years ago, it would have been realistic for you to work hard and then you can buy your own house, and now it doesn't seem realistic, which is kind of disappointing.